Hello, welcome to the fifth episode of the CVUO podcast. Today we have Umme and Hassan talking about group dynamics. Enjoy.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to episode 5 of CVUO's podcast. My name is Umme, and I'm the VP Logistics, and I'm joined by Hassan, who's the president. Today we're going to be talking about group dynamics within CVUO and how it's changed over the last 3 years. So, Hassan, do you want to start off?
Do you want me to start off? I feel like you had a good segue there. You could just keep going.
Oh, okay. Sure. Okay, so just like to give a little background to everyone. CVO has changed a lot, like drastically over the last 3 years. From sporadic meetings in the law libraries to meetings in an office. There's just been a lot of changes, and I can see that it's definitely affected our team dynamic.
Well,
so
I guess most people wouldn't know at this point, but we were a club 2 years ago. Just another SFUO club.
Wow, that sounds so sad. Just another SFUO.
No, it was great to be a club. No responsibilities. I mean, well, then we became a service last year with UOSU. So then things really changed in terms of our team dynamic because there's a lot more to do.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden. But 2 years ago, like you said, we had like sporadic meetings with the team. So we had a team of 10 or something, or a team of 12-ish, and they were split into two groups: a media team and a logistics team / marketing team, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it was just everyone who wasn't in the media team because I didn't want to have like 6 different meetings.
It was very interesting because honestly, like there was a team, but you really didn't know the other side. It was kind of like you were in like a house with a wall right in the middle.
Yeah.
And like Hassan would be running from one end to the other, but you wouldn't know the other team until we'd have like maybe a monthly meeting, which we would all just kind of sit there quietly, like looking at each other, like who are these new people? Like where do they come from? What do they do?
Yeah.
Which like changed drastically, I think the most last year. Just because I think becoming a service really brought us together because we felt like we had more responsibility to uphold within our group. And it was just like a big, exciting change because we could actually work towards things for the school rather than just create small events that we thought were making big differences. But like now we look at what the events that we've run this past year and we're like, oh shoot, like we were really trying to do the most, but I think we've definitely reached the most now. Like we've really worked together hard as a team to create like outstanding events.
Now we have the weekly meetings with everyone there instead of the splits.
Yeah.
So now everyone knows everyone.
Which I find a lot of fun. Do you want to talk about that, Hassan? Like how our meetings have gone in the last, I think, year and a half?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the ones from before and then talk about how that didn't work, and then we can talk about.
Okay, yeah. You talk about that because I have some thoughts as well.
Okay, so so like I was saying, we split up the team into 2 teams, and we would meet weekly separately, and then each, like you were saying, the teams didn't know each other, but also I didn't have things for everyone to do. Like, I had a lot of stuff for the media team to do because that's what we were doing, like photography and graphic design for a bunch of different clubs. So I had stuff for them to do and adding, like, stuff on the website. But the logistics team, like you said, we weren't really planning crazy events apart from, like, the one hot chocolate giveaway stand.
Yeah.
And that didn't really need a team of 4 to plan and organize. It was just, like, show up and...
I mean, the kettles were getting cold, so I understand.
That's true. We should have figured out our socket issue bit. Probably because like
just to put this into perspective, guys, imagine being in UCU and being near the UOSU office and then running back to near the bathrooms to go warm up the kettle and doing that back and forth because
oh my god, you were
apparently the demand. What?
The year before, the year before we did that as well, and we were outside of Morissette, and we'd have to run inside Morissette's basement to heat up our
Stop.
water.
Okay, that's
It's like-
worse. That's worse.
So it was so much worse.
That is so much worse. No,
That
no.
was like our only
Thankfully,
team
it was
bonding.
within the building.
Last year or 2 years
That-
ago. The hot chocolate stand.
Yeah, that's when we that was definitely something that I could like actually meet other people. That's when I met Evan. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
you're you. That's so cool.
I honestly felt like you guys didn't even like each other. Like, the media team didn't like the logistics team. The logistics team didn't like the media team. Because it was also very different vibes on both teams. So it was like,
Yeah, no, I didn't really have an opinion, to be honest. I was just kind of there.
logistics
I was
team was
just
all, like,
there.
serious and thought we were doing important things. And the media team was just, like, not taking anything seriously. So it was, like, a little bit of
honestly,
a clash.
I was just there to be there. I was like, this is a cool initiative. Let's do it.
Yeah, I had nothing
I
for...
think, honestly,
like, the team that you were in, the logistics team, I had very little for that
Yeah.
team to do, except for, like, maybe Laura, who was contacting all the clubs. Like, for you and Liv and
and
Kiara.
graphics.
Yeah, the odd graphics here and there. It's true. And the MailChimp as
Yeah.
well, actually. Remember MailChimp? You should do that again.
Who?
But yeah,
no,
that's
I
what...
like genuinely missed what you said. Who?
Oh, MailChimp? You were
MailChimp. Okay.
Oh, I thought you said
I thought
ooh.
you said something. No, I said who. Oh yeah,
Okay.
MailChimp. Oh gosh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, the odd MailChimp, the
Um,
odd graphic design.
Yeah.
But then...
it was just yeah, no, continue.
I think in the summer last year, we would have just the one general meeting where everyone would show up.
Mhm.
Or you called in once, I remember, but you were in Toronto at the time. But even
Yeah.
that wasn't working that well. I remember sometimes no one would show up out of like our 20-man team. I think it was like one time it was just
Yeah.
Claire and I just for 2 hours trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
But because we were still in the transition from like club to serve, or we were still a club over the summer. We were still figuring things out with USU, trying to figure out what we're going to be doing.
In our heart, we were a service.
Yeah. Honestly, I remember we were scared. Like, is this going to happen? Because we have nothing in writing. Funny thing is, we still have
Yeah.
nothing in writing. Just
Yeah,
kinda-
yeah, that's true. That's true.
But
No, I remember that too. But I
Then-
think definitely like actually having proper meetings like last September with everyone in one room really, really, really helped.
yeah,
Because like I don't know if many people know this, but like the CVUO team is very diverse. Like like Eng kids, nursing, Telfer, social science, like no one's in one
Arts.
same thing. Arts, yeah, like literally everything's like so you would think that these kind of people are not gonna get along as well as they do, but I think being in person together really, really, really like helped us
yeah.
get closer. And like there's so like I can't even begin to explain how many stupid inside jokes or prank wars or this and that have happened over the last year. And like I just think like becoming a service or like whatever we are really did help us, because I think we had like a bigger goal in mind rather than
Yeah.
like smaller goals that we had with our previous like the previous year's team, because we didn't really have much direction.
Everything became so
yeah.
so fast paced as soon as September hit that if you missed
Oh
a
my
meeting,
gosh,
you
yeah.
were just falling behind, or
Yeah.
so you had to be there. You had to actively be doing stuff, and people would be there like instead of just the meetings, people would be there all week long, and just doing work or not doing work. But that's what I was
Mostly
thinking
not
when you were
doing work.
saying. It's like because we were together so often and doing so much that if we didn't get along, things would just not work out because we would just be.
Well, yeah, there
constantly
were still
fighting.
like people who like had little like little issue, but like you could never tell because like we were all really, really there just for
Yeah.
CVUO, so it would never show at all. Like regardless of how someone else felt about the other person, like you would never be able to tell that like
Yeah.
that was the case.
And
So-
we had some surprisingly mature, like, when we did have issues, people were surprisingly mature about it. I remember we had some talks and people were just sorted out. It's like,
Yeah.
That was-
Yeah.
like, okay, we just did that like adults. That was interesting.
Yeah. I think also compared to like, because I know like I'll just refer to us like as like how we were before in terms of being a club. I think we were the only club that was able to cater to everyone's different needs, in the sense that we're helping different types of clubs. So if someone wants to focus on one club and someone else wants to focus on the other, we had the space to do that, to like express
Yeah.
ourselves in that way. So I think that was like a very like helpful thing for our team, because it never felt like there was like a competition or anything like that, because there's just so much that could be done, and there's so much space to like run your own initiative, that there's never really like it's just like, it's like everyone is just overflowing with ideas like at meetings, and it's like you just pick
It's
one,
'cause
and
we
if
weren't
you can
doing
do it, then you
so-
do it.
We had like, I think we had this idea of what it could be, but not much
Mhm.
happening. So any idea was welcome. We would just be like, let's do it.
Yeah, let's just do it. Yeah, I think that mentality really helped us out too,
Yeah, I feel
because
like we
like it
still
was
have
super
that.
rewarding. We do.
Yeah.
I'm just speaking in terms of like last year. Obviously, this year, guys, is a little different.
I remember Evan was
Um,
like, even this year, everyone was like, we should record, like for the clubs fair, we should record the videos from our phone and then go on Zoom on our phone. And he thought it was a stupid idea, but
mhm.
there are no such thing as stupid ideas at CVUO. And then we took it and it worked like magic.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, exactly. Or like Evan's, what was it? His noodle selling.
Wait, that's probably not something we want to talk about.
Oh, never mind. I did not say anything about Evan. Evan has great ideas though, on that note. And they're really great to see to come into fruition. I have to say.
Yeah.
Uh...
One thing that I even mentioned in my workshop last year, when the president's workshop, one thing that I think changes everything is the way we do our meetings, which is work meetings instead of like discussion meetings.
Yeah.
And
well,
I tested this at other clubs as well, and it just like, it works a lot better because, okay, so for the discussion meetings, they're basically where we have roundtables and everyone like gives their input on ideas that we have.
That's my favorite.
Okay, you like that, but I think
no,
you said
it
that
gets
in your
chaotic. It gets very chaotic. Like I think it, like now I'm like reflecting on it, it was a lot of fun, because like basically it's the room of like 20 people just shouting different things and talking about different things, and it's Hassan like running around being like, guys, we have to talk about this, and then someone will distract him, and then someone else will talk. So I think in that sense it's just like, it's like a fun little chaotic 15 minutes, but then obviously when we separate and like get to do our work, like it is very like productive. But I think it's just fun to have that, you know, that little chaotic spur of conversation between everyone, because you never know what ideas you can get from people from other teams within our group. So I don't know, I like it. I don't know what you think about
okay, yeah, that's what I was saying. Before you joined, we used to do roundtable discussions where we would sit and we'd just be like, what is your opinion on this, and what is your, actually we did that when you were there, I think, like give everyone your updates. And then that ended up, I was thinking one day, I was like, that's a big waste of time, because does Evan care about Umme's updates? Very unlikely. So Evan's just sitting there for like 30 minutes and he's listening to all these updates that he doesn't care about. So it's a waste of time for him. It's a waste of time for everyone. So, and it's so boring because it's just like everyone being super awkward and monotone talking about what they did in the last month. But the workshop meetings, even if you don't have anything to say, you just kind of work and you can just jump in other people's discussions freely. And kind of makes it more natural.
Yeah, I think it's so much fun. Yeah, like I really do value those meetings that we had.
I highly recommend clubs
even
do
like
that.
when. Pardon?
I was saying I highly recommend clubs do that. Like instead of doing discussion meetings, like have the space for discussion. Like make sure everyone feels comfortable giving their ideas, but have those workshop meetings where you just work during the meeting, and then anyone who wants to say anything can just say it when they feel like saying it instead of when it's their turn.
Exactly, that did help a lot. And especially like when you run big events, like when we had the SLA, it really, I mean, at least I can't speak for the events team, but I think it did really help them out in terms of like getting stuff done, because sometimes like for example, like me, I was VP marketing no, I think I was VP logistics during the SLA, but anyway, sometimes like, like you got most of your things done and like whatever you need to do, you can do it from home, like emails or whatever.
Yep.
And there's more important things to get done, like with regards to the SLA. So like just being able to like be there as like another helping hand and just doing whatever they need doing in the meeting makes the time more productive and like, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what else to say about that. I just think it's like it's just way more productive. Like you're not there just sit for 2 hours and talk. I think
for the
doing
events
things makes
team,
you feel like
I also noticed that because they would be working throughout the week usually, just because of the nature of the events and stuff, especially near the events. But having those 3 hours every week, like set, where it was like just 3 hours kind of grinding on whatever they're working on, I think that really helped because like you can work during the week, but you have school to worry about and other stuff. But just 3 hours of CVO work where everyone's there, you can tell everyone what they need to do and also talk to your whole team probably helped a lot.
That I think that did, especially having the meetings with them when things were getting closer to the date and they needed more help. I think like having them there to like remind everyone like, hey guys, like this is an event that we're all running as a team.
Yeah.
Like, yes, we're the events team, but we do need your help. I think that really like made people want to help them out more because I do remember it getting quite stressful for them. So I think having like other people in the meeting to just hear them out, like, and be like, okay, well, I'm already here for 3 hours, so might as well just do something that is coming up. And I think that applies to like every like little group within CVUO. I think whoever would need something done, then like that, like whoever's available. And I think that's something like really great about our team, like that we've evolved into compared to like the previous, like my first year at least. Like if another team was going through something and they needed help, it's not like we really saw them. I wouldn't even know what they were doing. We wouldn't really see them, and you don't really personify these people because you don't even ever see them really. So I think it did really help having those big team meetings, as chaotic as they did get. Once order was in place, it helped us really move forward with things that we need to get done.
Yeah, and I think I was just thinking when you were mentioning other groups, there's some people like on the team naturally. I mean, most people on most clubs and most teams where they're just kind of like do as you're told and just when you're told kind of people. And having those 3 hours where you could be like, hey, just do this thing before the meeting's done, and they can just get it all done in that 3 hours and then go home and they worry about their own life. That these meetings worked out really well for them, which is what most clubs will have in their executives, people who just want some instruction, do it, and then go home.
And
but
also,
there's
I think
also
that really
a drop.
helps people. Sorry.
I just heard myself back. Okay, I was gonna say there's one drawback to what we've been talking about, which is for the events team. Since they were there all the time, like always in the office, always working, they ended up doing stuff that wasn't part of their like position. So they'd spend a lot of time like translating, or Claire would be making graphics. And they'd also have like heated discussions about their website that would take a lot of time, and external stuff. So it'd be like because I would always be there, I would always be working, so they would always be working on whatever I was working on. So I think that's why it became really stressful when it came to events, because they were also doing so many different things at the same time. But that was just the nature of it, because they were always there. It's like, why would you not help out, right?
Exactly. That's true. Well, I think what also back to like your other point about like people who like just want to get their stuff done and then go home and deal with their own lives. I think it really did help that like we were quite open as a team in terms of like trying different things. Like if you told someone to like hey, this is how you make a graphic, and maybe you can try this out, just sit down and like take a look at it, I'll show you what to do. That kind of also gives other people in the team like opportunities to learn about other roles and like maybe even like try it out for the next year. And I think like that in itself, like it's really important to have that in meetings, like giving people opportunities to try out different things in different roles, even if it's something small, just working towards that, especially if it's like like maybe like first year, second year, or even third year students, just like learning the ropes in different fields, it really helps you broaden your horizons in that sense. And in the context of, for example, the SLA and like the events team, anyone with like, oh, for example, like Rosie, right? Like she had
Mhm.
experience in, what was it, serving? Food safety?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And like her knowing that she could put like help out with food safety right away, like, cause she was like, okay, yeah, I do this, I can do that. Or if someone's already done graphics before, um then they could definitely like just pop in and help them out with the graphics, even though it wasn't really something they needed to do. But like, I think what's really unique about our team is that, for the most part, a lot of people can do other things other than what they're expected. Other than obviously webmaster, I don't think I could ever do that. Um, that's not something I would be able to do. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, so it is like, I guess, a double-edged sword where it's like everyone can help out, but then if you're helping out too much, you're like burning yourself out.
Yeah. What do you think about your burnout?
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking it's because I probably tap into every single position every now and then, and anyone who's there is, if they want to help out, then they have to tap into that position as well. That's something for the events team. Like, if I was just there doing external work, and Luan or Claire or Amina were there as well, then, and they wanted to help out, then now they're doing external work, and sometimes they get carried away, and it takes forever.
Yeah.
So that's probably why it would happen. Because if I wasn't doing it, then they wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah. So like, what do you think what do you think we can do to like, or what do you recommend people do in a situation like this so that there's no burnout?
It's actually surprisingly worked out in a virtual setting, because now that we're not all together, but we still have that like base of, just all being friends. But because I feel like if we didn't, this would be terrible. But since we do,
this would be so bad.
Yeah, but since we already have that, and we're not always together now, I feel like a lot of people are not doing a lot. Burning out is more, or like, I don't think anyone's burning out right now. Hopefully,
I think you're the only person, the only victim of burnout.
Maybe actually not even right now. Like, I feel like
not right now. I'm saying generally. No, not right now. I mean in general.
Yeah, I think this is carried over. From,
yeah.
Sorry, we're saying you never not what?
I've just never not seen you. This sounds really bad.
This is like some triple negatives going here.
Yeah, I'm just like, preface, Ottawa don't come for Hassan and his degree, but I've definitely seen CVUO on his computer like 1,000 times more than I have anything else.
Yeah.
So I definitely know that I know you're a victim of burnout last year. Maybe not this year because things are, different, and
yeah.
There's still stuff to do, but it's like we set a really, really good base last year that like carrying on, especially through this pandemic, helped us out. But yeah,
I was gonna say,
what do you say to people who were like you?
I was actually gonna say that in a way, the way I do things, I like to do them this way. Even though sometimes it gets a lot, because okay, so not last year, but the year before, it was mostly just like me, maybe like Alexis, maybe like Laura and Shahan that were doing, that were carrying the team mostly, and doing all the positions kind of thing, and that carried over into September of last year, where I was like, I have to know how to do every single position and like do 50% of every single position, because that's just the way we were doing it last year. So I was like planning events, doing the external stuff, marketing and graphic design, and just doing everything. But at the beginning that was bad because I was obviously doing too much and then people weren't doing enough. But eventually, like, people grew into their roles, like, naturally, instead of just like getting thrown into it and figuring it out. Like, especially with the events team, I think that worked out really well, because at first I was like,
our dream team.
Yeah, because at first I was doing like maybe 50% of the work with them, but then eventually, as they like, as time went by, they started like taking on tasks themselves and like pushing me away. And eventually, like, I was doing barely any events teamwork, unless, like, they ask me to do it. So it starts off really bad, because, like, okay, so I guess this would be, like, for club presidents, where it's, like, you kind of have to, like, lead by example, and just do the work and be like, this is how, like, I'm doing it so you could do it now, that kind of thing. And eventually, like, people will just grow into their positions if they're, if they want to.
Yeah, I agree.
I know it's not the best. Like, I know, like, I just think about Claire's
there's, like,
dad,
a one
who, like,
way to do it.
me.
Yeah, but there's no, like, one way to go about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's always some beauty behind, like, the madness of whatever club or association or anything like that. Like, there's always that one person who's running around just to start it off, and I think that applies to many things in life, and you just happen to be that person. But, like, it's really great now that, like, when you'll graduate and stuff, like, you can look back and be like, okay, like at least I hope that you're, like, proud of like,
Honestly,
people,
not even
like,
talk about that graduation. It's like, what's
happen? Graduation.
We're gonna lose, like, half the team.
Yeah, okay, it's fine. We're not, but at least everyone left having done something or learned something.
Yeah.
And, like, I think like I said, like, a few minutes ago, like, the structure that we have, I've never seen in any other team. Like, it's just we're just so structured. Like, everything's so well organized, and, like, if you were to tell me that 2 years ago, I would have laughed or been like, no chance. Like, there's no chance. Because I would, like, to be honest, like, I would sit in those old meetings in the law library study room. What is it? Third floor, fourth floor?
Yeah, the hidden law library rooms. You had to, like, climb stairs to get.
Yeah, it wasn't fun, and I would just sit there bored out of my mind, like, just working on the same graphic for a whole week. Oh no, actually, guys, let me just expose Hassan real quick. Hassan's favorite task for all of us to do was to find clubs to add to the clubs list.
That's not even exposing. That's literally how we made it big, May. If we hadn't done that...
No, I know that's how we made it big, but, like, that's all we would do. Like, all we would do is just search for clubs. Hey, are you a club? Would you like to join our list? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think it's it did help us, like, grow, like, a big network. But what I'm saying is, compared to, like, now, like, there's so many things that we do for clubs, but back then all we were doing were finding clubs. We did try other things. We tried to, like, do the LinkedIn. What?
Do you remember last year, to get our Instagram going, I would have everyone at the beginning of the meeting go on our Instagram and like all our posts.
Oh.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I thought that's what you were going to
Yeah, wow, I think we stole that from Telfer. That was definitely a Telfer idea. I admit I stole that from him.
I got it from, like, the past president, too. Like,
I stole it from someone in Telfer. I saw them do it, and I was like, guys, this is how we're gonna get big. Everybody like the post at the same time and share it. That way everyone's gonna know us.
That was wild that we used to do that.
Yeah, that was kind of stressful.
For small clubs, it's a good technique. God. Like, if you get all your execs to like your posts, it'll help you out. Yeah. Workshop meetings. That's I think the biggest takeaway clubs should have. I did this in the presentation last year too. Do your workshop meetings, because I've done it at my other clubs, and, like, you'll notice a difference in terms of productivity and your team getting along. Just because no one, like Umme said, no one wants to sit down in boring meetings for an hour and a half every week.
Yeah, literally just doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. I wanted to ask you, so overall, like, I know we talked about past, we talked about more recent past, and past, more recent past, and kind of right now, but, like, how are you finding this transition
right now?
Just like, not like, between the three, like, like, would you have, like, what do you, in terms of team dynamic, because I know this is about, like, we're trying to stay on topic with, like, our team and, like, how we've gotten to this point. How do you think the transition's, like, gone, in your opinion?
So from 2 years ago to last year, I think it was really bad, because we were coming out of, like, not being super important and going into, like, doing a lot of work. So that summer was just, like, hell for me, because nobody cared enough to help out at that time. but there was a lot to prepare.
Mm-hmm.
It was really bad. I'm pretty sure I cried in the mess office like twice trying to write that club's policy manual. But as soon as September hit, and then everyone was on campus, and everyone was like, okay, CVO is a thing now. It just kind of like worked naturally. But I was looking at my the Snapchat memories, and it's like some of these things that happened, I thought they happened way later. But it was like the first week of September, we were all like best pals all of a sudden. So that was, I think that summer was really bad, but then as soon as September hit, and then everyone was there, and things just happened so fast that one day it felt like a week. And then everything just kind of fell into place. I wouldn't say I have too many thoughts on that, because it happened so naturally, and that's what I'd recommend people to do. Just let it happen naturally. I know people overthink this stuff, like how am I gonna make my team like each other and stuff.
Because I remember we would try to like plan like team socials and like we had all these great ideas, but then we never really we didn't do one, right? Like we just didn't.
We did one. You didn't come, though. I'm pretty sure.
Was I sick? I was always sick.
Where did we go? Oh, the Halloween one. We did we went thrift shopping. That's what we did. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was probably sick. Who knows? Yeah. Maybe. We'll see. But yeah, I think like I used to be super like, guys, we need to do a team social. Like we all need to like see each other outside of the office.
Yeah.
But in reality, it ended up happening anyway.
Yeah, it did. Like Amina's dinner.
Let it just happen.
All that stuff.
Yeah, those dinners. Yeah, honestly, yeah.
I think that
it will happen.
You can't force people to be friends with each other. No matter how many socials you do. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. And if it's not, I don't think it is. So.
And I think
I know
some of my friends that we would do is like. No, but one of the fun things that we would like, from what I remember, is like, kind of having a social within our meeting. Like, when Amina brought face masks, like that, I consider that like kind of like a social. Like we all did that together.
Yeah.
Or like, like people will go grab food together before the office, and like they'll come and everyone will eat like their dinner, or like someone will be working on something. Like I know it sounds small, but like those little gestures, like they really did bring the team together, because even like just walking to site to go get food, you get to know someone a little bit more, and I think
the
our
deep
team
talks
really,
at the burrito bowl line.
It really like that line is long. Or like Frango Fries, rest in peace. They're not dead, but I'm just not there, so
yeah. Dead to us.
Those walks there, they were just so I agree. I don't think team socials need to be a huge priority. They'll happen on their own, and they won't need to be like officially planned. I think because towards the end of the year, like whenever someone had a party or anything, like everyone ended up being there anyway, and that was without planning it.
I think you can, I think team socials would be fun to plan with a team that already is liking each other, to do a fun activity together with them. Yeah. But I don't think there should be a means to an end where you're like, oh, my team hates each other, so let's go on a hiking trip and now they love each other. That's not going to work.
Plus, our team was huge. Like, there was no...
Yeah, it's true. Our team was really big.
It was really, really hard to... And I think, the best thing about it is that whenever we did... there was always, more things going on. So if someone missed something, to be like, okay, come next week. Someone else is doing this. Or, you know, It was... I think also it was just because our team was so big that it could be, you could feel left out because everyone's doing something. But there was always that open door policy. I think that... everyone had that same mindset, we're on the same team, we're all friends, and I really felt that towards the end, before the pandemic hit, which was really sad because I'm like, oh man,
but it just ended.
Yeah, it was so emotional. I got home, when I moved back, and I'm like, wow, that was our peak. I think. I don't know if you think that was our peak, but I really think that the SLA for sure brought everyone together, even though that there were some rocky points and stuff. I think that was that one
interesting.
thing that
I never thought about that, actually.
Everything. It's that one
we
thing.
Always had a goal at the end.
Yeah.
We always had one end point that we never reached, but we always had it. Ever since. the summer. Like, well, like it was from 2 years ago, but like where everyone was aware of it, it was like in the summer. That's interesting. I wonder if that helped, like having an end goal.
I think so. Having one big thing that everyone can like look forward to. I think we were so excited too, and we all understood the importance of what the SLA meant to the school, but also like CVUO and how far we've come. I think it was just like a really important time for everyone to like get closer.
We were literally peaking because we were just about to have the event.
That's what I mean. Like that was our peak. That was as good as it gets. But I'm sure, like, you know, in future years when they have the SLA, or if we do have it this year, then hopefully, I don't know. Honestly, what do you think about this year then? Like your transition from
so
such an amazing year to this.
This year, I think we didn't lose a lot of people going into this year from last year. We lost like we did lose. Okay, maybe we lost like half the team ish. But a lot of returning members as well. So it felt like I didn't feel like I had to do work as much to like, or I guess I wasn't worried, I guess I should say, instead, about like the team working together, just because like these people already know each other and it'll be fine. But in the summer I had a lot of individual meetings, especially with new people. Well, not individual, like for example the sponsorship team, I would meet with them every week, like separately. And the media team, I would meet with them separately every week. I think for them it really worked out because like they would get to meet me, they would get to meet each other every week, and they were getting more comfortable both with me and with their team members.
I definitely see that. I 100% see that, because when that whole, I don't know if anyone knows who's tuning in, but basically there's this great big Shawn Mendes prank. And
prank?
I think, yes. Terrible.
You mean
prank.
the time Shawn Mendes came to our...
Okay, we're not talking about this as a sore spot, but what I was gonna say is the people who are moderating our store, like our Instagram lives at the point, were obviously new members.
Yeah.
And I just give them huge props, because they literally took this new challenge of, first of all, joining CVUO during a pandemic, and then being on our Instagram live, which is like one of my biggest fears. I don't like, you know, that
you mean the comedy thing, the dad joke.
The comedy thing, yeah. Exactly, yeah. Like they really just took it and went with it, and they did such a great job. And so I really appreciate like how the new team has embraced every new change that's come with being a part of CVO this year. I think that's really what's going to help us get through this year.
It did
like our new members.
For the new members, I think it did take a lot longer for them to become friends than it did last year.
Well, but also look at like what, you know, we're in the pandemic, so it makes sense.
I mean, yeah. That's what I mean, yeah.
But they're doing such a great job, you know what I mean? Like, I have to admit, if I was in their position, I'd been like, oh man, I don't know if this is working for me. These are all new people. Like, it's kind of intimidating. I would be intimidated to join CVO if I knew, definitely. You know, everyone's had like that year and they all know each other. But they've like, shout out to you guys, because you've done a great job at embracing this change, and I think that's definitely something that's like a driving force for us to continue having a great year.
I think our energy helps that as well. The fact that we literally, it seems like nothing ever matters.
Yeah.
So I think that's
another thing. It's not that serious. I think that's another thing. That's another thing.
You know what the funny thing is? 2 of our members currently, their application for their to join is like, why do you want to join CVO? And 2 of them literally said because of the team dynamic. So they were, which is sad, because I think they were looking forward to that, like, you know, being in the office and always being there kind of thing. But I think both of them are having fun, at least, hopefully. The virtual stuff.
Yeah, plus there's always next year, like, if you get through this, you can get through anything, and I think like it'll be like, at least I think, I don't know, maybe I'm foreshadowing something
terrible, like the coronavirus, like
that's
a 10-year
terrible
thing.
Yeah, then let's not talk about that. That's another.
You'll have other problems that are not CVO if that happens.
Don't even get me started on this pandemic. But yeah, I definitely do think this transition could have been worse.
definitely.
because of the pandemic.
I think the summer helps out always.
Yeah. Well, you weren't there this summer, right? So how did you even find that? Because
I was like, no one was there in the summer mostly. Like the university was closed, so everything was done online. But I think if I had started off with I know we just spent like 30 minutes talking about how individual meetings are not good and having one group meeting is good. But I think if I had started off this year with that, with one big Zoom call, and just like all the old people and all the new people in it, I don't think it would have worked out as well for the new people, just because, like you said, people would have been intimidated to not like
intimidated,
speak.
Yeah.
But having like splitting them up, I was thinking like, okay, so the media team is of 4 members. That's a smaller group of people that are more comfortable talking, and then the sponsorship team is 2 people, so they're more comfortable talking to each other. And then once they become comfortable with each other, with me, and then I throw them into in September like the big team. They were like, yeah, like I'm already know the vibe that this
exactly. They had like familiar faces. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I think I think most of them are like pretty okay now.
They're doing a great job. I never talk in the meetings. They're really doing a great job.
The meetings are tough this year still though with Zoom, because like even maybe less so now, but in the summer if I did remember the team meeting we did?
Yeah.
It was just terrible because like I felt like a teacher talking to a bunch of kids and they wouldn't talk back.
Yeah.
That actually reminded me
I think everyone... Yeah, sorry. No, I was just going to say, I think we thrive a little bit off of the chaos that we create in person. And I think everyone just needed to let it out of their system.
Yeah.
To just like scream talk, and then you be like, no guys, we need to focus on this one thing, and no one's focusing. I think it was just a one time, everyone needs to get out of their system.
Yeah. I'm glad we don't. I think the meetings now are okay, where I don't feel super awkward.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know what if I had to give advice for virtual meetings. I'd probably say do the opposite of what we spent talking about at the beginning, where it's like split your team up, get comfortable with them, and then kind of like through them. Especially if you have a big team, I'd say that's the go-to. But if you have a small team, maybe it's a little different, where you can just kind of like start right off the bat. But it's going to be very hard for most people to get comfortable with a group of 20 over Zoom that they've never met and that seem to know each other. So it's like...
Yeah, that is true. I think what also did help, though, like, I know you're saying, like, the big meetings are not that helpful virtually, but I think just having maybe like a 10-minute thing where everyone just introduces themselves so you can put a face to a name.
Yeah.
Because I think we did do that.
Yeah. I always forget to do that because, like, I usually know the people, so it's like, I always forget that you guys don't know each other.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, like, we don't, so I think that, like, maybe keep that part, like, don't completely eliminate that out of the equation, but otherwise, I don't know. I don't really have much to say, because this year
it's never going to be ideal. I don't think you'll find it to be perfect. Just because, like, I think people are, like, this is like, personal opinion. I know people, like, disagree, but I think people, like, undervalue the, like, in-person meetings and seeing people in person. Because I know people are like, oh, everything should just go online because it's worked online. But I don't think it's the same level of, like, familiarity and productiveness online versus in person. Just because, like, there's, like, an aftermath to it. It's like, oh, we're done the meeting, let's go out to eat, and that kind of thing that you won't have with a Zoom meeting. And honestly, the worst thing about a Zoom meeting...
Or, like, walking to class. Like, it just, like, there's so many things you can just do together after a meeting or before a meeting that, like, helps you bond with someone else in the team.
Yeah.
So...
The thing about...
Or even those little conversations, if someone came in late, they'd be like, sorry, like, I had this class or this, and, like, you kind of get to know the person. We don't really have that.
And it's hard to do that over Zoom.
It's very hard to do that,
Unless, you'd have to, like, do a breakout room every time you wanted to talk to someone about your personal life.
Your life.
Just not work.
Yeah.
Also, I was just going to say, the thing about Zoom meetings is that you have to end them. Like, you just have to leave the meeting. There's no, like, smooth
awkward
transition out. It's just like, okay, we're done. And that's final. Like, I'm not talking to you guys after, like, click leave meeting.
It's so awkward.
And it's always so awkward. It's like, alright guys, bye.
Like, even last week when I did my task, like, during the meeting, I, like, messaged you. I'm like, hello, I'm leaving. Okay, goodbye. Because I didn't know if I should leave or not. I don't want to be rude and just, like, leave meeting. And then you're like, okay, bye, Umme. And I was like, okay, do I turn my mic on and say bye to everyone else, or do I just click leave meeting? Like, are they going to catch offense? If anyone was wondering, I just clicked leave meeting. I didn't really know how to handle the situation.
Sometimes people leave without telling me, and I'm like, oh, I guess they're done with that.
Yeah.
But so yeah, they're never gonna have a perfect meeting. I mean, from my opinion as well. I think in person will always trump online.
Yes.
As much as Twitter has told me otherwise.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, overall, let's just do some takeaways because we've been talking for a really long time. I don't know if people want to listen to us talk.
Yeah, that's a 46 minutes right now.
How great our team is, which it is great. And I will keep talking because I can just talk for hours.
Yeah, we didn't even talk. I want. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, you were saying.
Yeah. So biggest takeaway, just chill out. Listen, not everything's gonna be figured out. Go roll with the punches, go with the flow, and you'll figure it out as time comes.
Yeah.
We didn't anticipate for there to be a pandemic, as many people haven't either, and so just
if you
adapt.
anticipated and didn't tell anyone.
Well, that's a secret I'll never tell. But no, I'm kidding. But yeah, just be chill. Like, there's no like, don't feel pressure to be everybody's friend off the bat or to know how to do everything. Ask questions. I think that's also, we didn't really touch on that, but ask questions when you don't know what's going on and put your best foot forward and say, is there anything that anyone needs help with or that I can do to, be eager, because there is always something to do. And I think just like asking will definitely bring you a step closer to being more involved. Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are like my biggest takeaways. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
I mean, I would agree with just like, I think to summarize what you were saying is to not overthink things. Because I feel like a lot of people spend a lot of time just thinking about how am I going to make my team work better. And that's like, it's in a way, if you think about it, that's like you thinking about how you're going to make two people become friends. And I don't know if anyone's done that before, but I feel like it would not work. We just have to kind of like put them together, and if they become friends, they do, and if they don't, then they won't. So don't spend too much time thinking about that kind of thing. And also,
focus
you're not
on why
losing
you're there.
anything.
Sorry? No, exactly. I just say like focus on why you're on the team as well, or what the team means, because it's not
just have
like
fun with it.
Just have fun. Like we're all a part of this one team for one goal, so try to focus on that, because if you just try to focus on like all these little minute things like, oh, this person won't like this person won't do this in the meeting, no, like you're just focusing on the wrong thing.
Honestly, we've had situations where people... Sorry, keep going.
Sorry, what'd you say? You've had situations like that?
I'm saying we've, in the team, like even in CVUO, we've had people like not like each other, and I feel like if I had focused on that, it would have just escalated, as opposed to like them just resolving it on their own.
Because we're all adults too.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's an adult that can deal with their own issues. They don't need to become like, because I know people will be like, oh, we need to have like training on anti-conflicts and stuff like that, and it's like, just this like training on how to be a person.
I'm knocking on wood right now.
Pardon?
Knocking on wood. I just said knock on wood. We haven't had anything crazy, really. Even if someone makes a mistake, anything crazy go on in terms of like conflict within our team, like I can't really think of it.
I feel like we have an environment where if someone was like being toxic to another person, everyone would be like, what are you doing? I feel like, because
but it would never be like in your face like during the meeting. It would just be like, yo, like you kind of messed up, like let's just not do that next time.
No, I was saying, because I remember
what I'm saying, even if someone like sorry,
you were saying, what were you saying?
No, I was just gonna say, even if someone makes a mistake within the team, like with regards to like what we're doing, I don't think anyone's ever like taken it personally. And
we don't care about mistakes.
We really don't care.
Yeah, it's like whatever.
We'll laugh about
you lost
and
the decoration box worth $700 is fine. I was actually talking about like, I remember people used to say that like other teams have been on, where other big teams have been on, people would like backbite and that kind of thing, or talk bad about members. I feel like no one's done that to me. Like no one's backbited about someone else, to me at least.
We
But
talk about you all the time.
well, I don't know. I'm not saying about me. I'm saying like no one's talked about someone else to me, or like in a bad way. Like people don't talk about positive things.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's just, if someone did that, I'd be like so off put. I'd be like, what are like? That'd just be so uncomfortable.
What was the
So I
point
feel
of
like,
even saying that? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I think like we have an environment where it's like if you're being negative, you're gonna be like not appreciated. Or just will not work.
we don't really put up with that. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Yeah.
I couldn't imagine if someone came up to me and started talking shit about another member. I don't even know like that how that would even work.
I think we're all very uncomfortable with it.
Yeah, so I always think about this sometimes. Like, get to create an environment where people are uncomfortable to be negative. So,
yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, I think our team is very do unto others as you would please for them to do for you. So.
Pardon?
I think our team, like, we really do follow the philosophy of like do unto others as you would hope they would do to you. If that's the phrase, I don't know, but just be nice and everyone will be nice back. But yes, I think we should end this because on my computer it says 56 minutes.
56? Wait, what? Mine says 52. How 57. Out of sync are we?
Oh no.
That's like 5 minutes difference. Did you start early or something? I don't know. Okay.
We'll figure it out.
Barty will figure it out.
Yeah, thank you, Bardia. I'm just editing note. Thank you, Bardia, for fixing whatever this may become. But anyway, we'd like to thank you guys all for listening to our 5th podcast on Team Dynamics. My name is Umme, VP Logistics, and Hassan.
And I approve this message.
I hope you guys are all staying safe and healthy during this pandemic. Be safe, please, because numbers are rising.
If you live in Ottawa, be better.
I live in Toronto, so be better as well. You
need to be better as well.
Yeah, be better. Be good to each other, and have a great rest of your day. That's all.